Tonight on KGW News, a suspect arrested and released 4 times after allegedly smashing windows.
He's frankly made a mockery of the justice system. Every time he's released, he just simply goes back to breaking more windows.
So will the 5th time finally keep him behind bars? Also tonight, they chose this street because it's quiet. Now, they've got company.
I have felt safe here all my life. Up till now.
My neighbor cannot get in and out of his property.
But first, the start of a new school year up in the air.
We wanted to be welcoming our students today. Instead, we are still pushing to have a fair contract.
Why teachers in 3 local districts are now holding out. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Mulco, and we begin in Clark County, where teachers in 3 school districts are either already on strike or on the verge. We are talking about Camas, which started its strike today on what was supposed to be the first day of class. Then Battleground, where teachers will vote tomorrow on whether or not to strike. And finally, Evergreen, where they are still in negotiations, though teachers there say they will strike on Wednesday if they cannot reach a deal. Our Alma McCarty talked to educators in all 3 districts tonight to get an update.
On Monday, Camas teachers camped out on the lawn and on sidewalks outside of the district's school board meeting.
We're on strike, and we're here at a board meeting to show our support for our bargaining team and to send a message loud and clear that we want to get things done. We want to get back in the classroom. We want to be able to see and serve students and do the job that we're here to do.
Monday, the 28th, would have been the first day of school for thousands of students. But the teachers union and the district did not come to a contract agreement in time. Teachers like Eleanor Cosgrove Farland explain the sticking points.
So right now it's lower class sizes, cost of living adjustments, and also equitable funding for programs like PE, music, and library.
Tomorrow we are on strike again. The district has already sent out the message to families. Until they come to the table, we're going to be striking for our students.
Late Monday, the Camas Education Association announced they'll be returning to the bargaining table with district leaders after the first ever full day of striking in the district. On Sunday, the district said its last, best, and final offer included raising salaries in 2023 by 5.7% and in 2024 by 5.9%.
We care about students and what students need, and the last final offer isn't meeting the needs of our students. We know that they need smaller class sizes. We know they need equitable funding, and until that's on the table, we'll keep walking.
Meantime, teachers from 2 neighboring school districts in Southwest Washington, both Battleground and Evergreen, could go on strike, and soon. Both districts' first day of school is scheduled for Wednesday, August 30th.
We're going to vote and see which way. Are we happy with where we're at with bargaining, or do we think we need a little bit more time?
Kim Betker is the Battleground Education Association president. She says they're asking for a cost of living pay increase, collaboration time for special education teachers, and new contract language regarding multi-language learners. The district and union have been negotiating since January.
We want to work for the children. We want to be with the students.
The Evergreen Education Association already announced its intent to strike, and the district put out a note to families Monday telling them to plan for a possible delay to the start of the school year.
We're going to keep bargaining as long as possible. You know, we're offering every day this week. We stayed a little later tonight, and we're prepared to stay as long as we need to and try to get our kids back in school. You know, we want them in school.
As for the administrators, each district has a look at what they're offering teachers on their websites. Alma McCarty, KGW News.
We, of course, will keep you posted. Meanwhile, many other districts are headed back to school as planned. Most Portland students start tomorrow. Students at the Gresham, Barlow, and North Clackamas school districts return the day after Labor Day. And Hillsborough and Tiger Tualatin, you begin a week from Wednesday. That is September 6th. All right, let's bring in Ashley Grams now in for Matt. Ashley, you know what? Speaking of uncertainty for families, we do have some questions tonight about exactly what happened to summer here.
Right. It seems like it just disappeared right in time for all those Portland kids headed back to school. And we're seeing some changes here. So we could possibly see some rain tomorrow as well. You can see our high tomorrow in the 70s. Today in the metro area, we only made it up to 71 degrees. So that's a pretty stark difference difference from those 90s that we saw over the weekend. We had a lot of haze over the weekend. Today, a lot of that clearing out, a little bit easier to breathe, that's for sure, at least on the western side of the state. So again, if you're waking up tomorrow, getting your kids out the door about 60 degrees and might want to find that raincoat. I know I need to figure out where mine is because we're going to see these scattered showers for the next couple days. So again, this is really going to pick up tomorrow around 10 a.m. So have that coat handy, and then the rain is going to last a few more days. But again, this is improving air quality. It's going to clear some haze, and we're going to talk about how this is going to help with the smoke and the forward progress of that Camp Creek fire. Coming up, David.
Yeah, thank you, Ashley. We'll see in a few. And that rain and cooler weather, may be helping when it comes to fighting this particular fire. This is the one in Clackamas County that's now at 1,600 acres and close to the area's water supply. Firefighters are focused on keeping flames from creeping closer to the Bull Run watershed. Keep in mind, Portland's Water Bureau says, yes, the water is still safe to drink, but if the fire moves too close to the treatment facility, they'd have to evacuate staff and shut that down. In that case, officials say they have a backup plan.
So here in Portland, we're fortunate. We've got two high-quality sources of drinking water. You have Bull Run, as we've been talking about, and then we have our Columbia South Shore well field.
Though it sounds like the second one there might not be able to produce as much water as Portlanders typically use in the summer. In the unlikely case that they have to shut down Bull Run, again, unlikely at this point, they could also ask customers to cut down on their water usage. Let's take you to Sherman County now, where crews worked for several hours today to haul two semi-trucks out of the Columbia. Incredible video here. You don't see this every day, thank goodness. The trucks drove off the westbound lanes of I-84 near Biggs Junction in two different incidents. One of them crashed Friday after hitting an abandoned car on the freeway shoulder. The other crashed a few hours later, striking an ODOT vehicle that was responding to the first crash. Nobody was hurt. Developing this evening, he is the alleged serial vandal accused of damaging more than a dozen Gresham businesses, including this, chucking rocks through the windows of a salon a few weeks back. You may remember the suspect in this case, Garrett Fine, had already been arrested and released 4 times in connection with other incidents. Let's bring in Catherine Cook. Catherine, it seems police caught up with Fine yet again, and he was back in court yet again. I'm almost afraid to ask, what happened this time?
Well, David, they arrested him Friday, and in court today, you could sense the growing frustration over Fine's criminal history. This is the 5th time he's been arrested since June for breaking windows in Gresham. So when Fine stood before a judge this afternoon, the state did not hold back.
He's frankly made a mockery of the justice system and our orders, where every time he's released, he just simply goes back to breaking more windows and then gets arrested and is brought back. To date, he's accused of vandalizing 14 separate businesses in the city of Gresham across 4 felony vandalism cases.
Here's security video from earlier this month. You can see Fine throwing rocks through the windows of this Gresham salon. Again, he's accused of breaking windows at 14 Gresham businesses since June. So why did the court let him out of jail so many times? Well, after his first few arrests, the court deemed him, quote, low risk for not showing up for his court dates. But of course, now we know he didn't show up. Finally, after his 4th arrest, a judge did order Fine held in jail until his arraignment. But then he was released again because no public defenders were available. In court today, Fine pleaded not guilty to multiple counts of vandalism. The judge set bail for $30,000. The fine is due back in court next week. For now, he'll remain behind bars unless he posts bail. David.
Thank you, Catherine. Appreciate that update. In our homeless crisis, we have a story tonight about a new camp that just popped up in a small southeast Portland neighborhood. One camper's found attractive for the same reasons as its residents, though it's what the people brought with them and what it has done to their street that's really touched a nerve. Blair Best explains.
Passing by, it's easy to miss this small dead-end street off Southeast 82nd in Franklin. Those who live there like it that way.
This community is great.
Diana Phillips wears her love for the neighborhood on her sleeve.
I have felt safe here all my life, up till now.
We chose this spot because there's not a lot of people here.
Mike and his friends live in trailers. They moved into the neighborhood on Friday.
When I saw it, I was,
Right now, my neighbor cannot get in and out of his property.
All due to a line of trailers they say is now blocking traffic.
We've seen so far a garbage truck and a school bus try and get through, and they just had to turn around and go back. Oh, I'm just worried that if we did have a fire or an emergency situation, we wouldn't be able to get anything down the street.
Seeing as many of the neighbors have medical conditions.
It's just hard.
Now, turns out this isn't a new problem for emergency vehicles. Portland Fire has to deal with obstructions on narrow roads like homeless camps and trailers all the time. And if a homeless camp gets in their way, it will be reported to the Community Safety Division.
I try to make sure my van's parked off on the side if I come in. I know it's a big old hunk of junk that takes up a lot of room. But
the Portland Bureau of Transportation is responsible for removing vehicles like his that block streets and driveways. Because of this, those who camp here know their days are numbered.
We play it day by day. When we're told to move, then we find a new spot.
It's frustrating when you have to work and pay your bills and other people are taking the system free.
Everybody here tries to be super respectful. You know, we're all hurting in one way or another.
Blair Best reporting there. PBOT telling us they are tagging the vehicles for removal and making sure neighbors can get in and out of their driveways. They also ask anyone who encounters sites like that one to please call 311. You're watching KGW News. Straight ahead at 11, some Oregon senators who walked out are now suing the state. How their lawyer will try to argue they should still be able to run for office. And later, got any extra veggies in your garden? The food bank that's making a special plea for fresh produce.